Greetings everyone, we are from Group K7. Today we will be presenting our research about cultural erosion and deterioration of heritage integrity, impacts on the identity of Jalan Sultan. This is our project overview from problem statement, abstract, methods, conceptual framework, research questions, conclusion, and ending with references. First, we will start off with our problem statement. Due to the building facades and their functions being modernized, the identity of Jalan Sultan is gradually erasing. The local business people and the government did not show efforts in preserving the heritage integrity, where its architectural style, local businesses, and the distinct atmosphere was influenced by Chinese culture. Aside from that, the rapid urbanization of the street causes a gradual cultural erosion through the gentrification of the area, making the street more of a tourist destination than its original cultural hub. In the future, Jalan Sultan, once shaped by its rich heritage, might no longer resemble the cultural hub it once was and could become just a faint reminder, a skeleton, of its vibrant history as it evolves into something that no longer reflects its roots.
These studies investigate the impact of heritage integrity deterioration and cultural erosion on the identity of Jalan Sultan, a historically significant street in Kuala Lumpur. The research aims to understand the factors contributing to these issues and propose strategies for preserving the area's unique character. Through a qualitative research approach, including personal on-site observations and secondary resources, the study reveals several key findings on how heritage integrity and cultural erosion affects the identity of Jalan Sultan. For the general findings, Jalan Sultan's street identity is multifaceted, encompassing both tangible elements like its historic architecture and intangible aspects, such as its cultural heritage, community traditions, and social dynamics. Findings reveal that modernization, inadequate preservation efforts, and the displacement of small businesses have disrupted the area's cultural fabric. The transformation of the street into a tourist-oriented commercial zone has diminished its historical significance and weakened its community networks. The influx of tourists and the development of commercial establishments have led to a displacement of local businesses, the disruption of social networks, and the loss of the area's historical character. Additionally, infrastructure developments such as MRT construction have led to the demolition of heritage buildings, further eroding the urban fabric. Hence, key strategies were introduced, including community engagement programs to raise awareness of the importance of cultural preservation among stakeholders, adaptive reuse policies to repurpose heritage buildings, and the implementation of zoning regulations to balance modern development with traditional elements. Urban planning interventions, such as pedestrian-friendly streets and the community center business hubs, are also recommended to restore social cohesion and cultural vibrancy. In conclusion, by implementing this approach that blends economic viability with cultural sensitivity, Jalan Sultan can retain its unique character while adapting to contemporary urban demands, ensuring its relevance as a functional urban space while being a rapidly urbanizing city. To assist this research, two methods were used, which is the on-site observations and secondary resources. For the on-site observations, we observe changes in the streetscapes, such as the removal of traditional elements, the introduction of modern structures, or the overall visual impact of new developments. We also examine how individuals engage with the heritage environment, whether they find it valuable, and how they perceive changes in the area. For secondary resources, we analyze historical news articles and features to track changes in the neighborhood over time. We also examine scholarly papers on urban heritage conservation, cultural studies, and local history to obtain theoretical frameworks and practical evidence.
In our conceptual framework, we explore the phenomena of how the building facades and their functions have been modernized, and that the identity of Jalan Sultan have been gradually erased. Hence, we address the issues of the deterioration of heritage integrity and the gentrification and cultural erosion of buildings at Jalan Sultan. For the first issue, which is the deterioration of heritage integrity, we address key factors of awareness, methods to conserve, and guidelines. Likewise, for the second issue, gentrification and cultural erosion, we address key factors of overcrowding and commercialization, disruption of social networks, and heritage loss due to development, along with potential solutions that are proposed to tackle these issues.
Our first research question is how heritage integrity affects the identity of Jalan Sultan. First is the architectural style, such as the loss of traditional facade from newly built or renovated buildings. It may lead to forgotten unique elements of the shop houses, resulting in the building's disconnection from the historical context of the street. Next is the modern businesses take over the traditional business done by the residents of the street, such as Western cafes and business hotel. Jalan Sultan may lose its historical uniqueness and become just another place, as its traditional trades such as the florist, croquet, and Chinese medicine disappear. For the issue of urban fabric, Jalan Sultan's identity, shaped by its colonial, Malay and Chinese architectural style, is weakened as replaced buildings create a fragmented visual landscape and the loss of mixed-use heritage buildings due to the lack of guidelines. To support the issues, a failure case study of a pre-war bungalow in Penang is found where, due to the lack of guidelines, illegal demolition of the building was allowed, further reflecting of the duration of heritage integrity in Malaysia. In response to the issues, the first potential solution is to develop clear standards that empathize on maintaining the original elements of traditional facades, such as to promote the use of traditional materials techniques in renovation projects. Next is to arrange a community engagement program with existing and new business people at Jalan Sultan, such as organize workshop events and to educate business owners and developers on the value of cultural preservation. Also, implementing a zoning policy are crucial to preserve Jalan Sultan's urban fabric by protecting heritage buildings to maintain a balance between modern development and the area's historical character. To support the presented potential solution, a successful case study of the central market located at Pasar Seni keeps the traditional Malaysian arts and crafts alive in an urban environment, such as the original Art Deco architectural style that has been preserved, maintaining its historical aesthetic.
Our second research question is how does cultural erosion affect the identity of Jalan Sultan? First is the overcrowding and commercialization, as the street is overcrowded by tourists that result in the street being less accessible for people, creating a commercialized atmosphere that strip away the historical depth that once made in a cultural hub. Secondly, rapid urbanization and commercialization lead to the destruction of social network, displacing these communities that had long-standing relationship and historical preserve that traditions and unique heritage of the area, thus breaking social bonds and losing their authentic identity, leading to a diminished sense of identity. Also, the heritage lost due to the modern development. The historical buildings and landmarks that once served as symbols of the area's rich cultural identity, such as the pre-war shophouses that was demolished and proposed MRT line, have emerged. To support the issues, a few examples: Ipoh Old Town, located at Jalan Bandar Timah, is losing the heritage characteristics such as the pre-war shophouse due to the increasing modern development, and there is a strain on existing infrastructure, including utilities, waste management, and public services. In response to the issues, the first potential solution is creating pedestrian walking zone can alleviate overcrowding in Jalan Sultan, and improving the transportation systems can ensure smoother access while supporting efforts to preserve the area's cultural essence and historical appeal. Next is to establish community center, business hub, rebuild connection among residents and local entrepreneurs, and ensuring the area retains its authentic character and cultural identity with host events that involve the Jalan Sultan community. Lastly, is to promote adaptive reuse of historical buildings can preserve their cultural significance, and implementing strict preservation guidelines ensure that redevelopment respects and retains Jalan Sultan's heritage and identity. To support the presented potential solution, a successful example of Georgetown in Penang that was part of the ancient Malay kingdom of Kedah, and the economy is now driven by tourism, art, and local cuisine and services, are influenced by Georgetown's heritage, as the stakeholders preserve heritage by regulating materials and limiting commercialization.
In conclusion, the study of Jalan Sultan highlights the important relationship between heritage integrity and cultural erosion in the face of rapid urbanization. Modernization, inadequate preservation, and the displacement of local businesses have transformed the area into a tourist-focused commercial zone. impacting its historical and cultural significance. This research emphasizes the importance of balancing preservation with development. Strategies like community involvement, adaptive reuse of heritage buildings, and pedestrian-friendly spaces can help restore the area's cultural vibrancy while accommodating urban change. By combining economic growth with cultural sensitivity, Jalan Sultan can preserve its identity amidst development. And to end our presentation, here is the list of references done to assist this research. Thank you.